Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Hayabusa, one of the fastest and strongest assassins in the game. In this video, I will also talk about how Hayabusa works in full details, which includes his passive skills, combos, along with some tips and guides on how to use him in a match, so that you can dominate every game using Hayabusa. So without further, let's get started. Hayabusa has remained as one of the safest and best assassins to push solo ranks in Mobile Legends. And what makes him special is that he can dash in and out of fights without any problem. And he's definitely a good hero that can carry his teammates in solo rank. But mastering him is no easy task, as his skills require a lot of practice and dedication. So in order to master Hayabusa, you must first understand how his passive and skills work. So let's start with his passive. With the help of his passive, every time you deal damage to the enemies, they will be marked by your passive. And the passive mark can be seen above their health bar. Each enemy can be marked up to 4 times, and each mark increases the damage on that enemy by 5%, meaning the more passive marks the enemies have, the more damage you will deal against them. Dealing damage to the enemies using your skills will also leave a mark on the enemies. Skill 1, Phantom Shuriken. Now let's talk about his first skill. With the help of his first skill, Hayabusa throws 3 shurikens in the target direction, each shuriken dealing 200 physical damage. And the enemies that get hit by this skill will also be slowed by 35% for 2 seconds. Dealing damage to the enemies using this skill will leave 2 passive marks on them, as this skill is your main source of damage. So make sure to max out this skill first now. Skill 2, Quad Shadow. Let's talk about his second skill. With the help of his second skill, Hayabusa dashes in a target direction and releases 4 shadow clones that travel in all 4 directions. And you can then use your second skill again and teleport towards any shadow you want. If you hit an enemy with your second skill, your shadow will get attached to that enemy. And no matter how far the enemy travels, you will always be able to teleport towards the enemy that got hit by your shadow. Every time you use your second skill to teleport to your shadows, the cooldown of your first skill will get reduced by 1 second, allowing you to spam your first skill when using his second skill. So make sure to keep that in mind when using his second skill. And since this is your main source of mobility and engagement skill, you must practice this skill alone, because if you don't know how to use this skill, you will probably have a hard time using Hayabusa. So make sure to practice him in offline and in classic mode before using him in ranked matches. Ultimate. Now let's talk about his ultimate skill. With the help of his ultimate, Hayabusa turns into a shadow and launches 6 single target attacks on enemies in the area, each strike dealing 140 physical damage. And this skill can hit multiple enemies at once, but will prioritize hitting enemies with the passive marks first. Meaning, even if there are multiple enemies in one location, it will prioritize hitting the enemies with passive marks. Each hit from your ultimate will consume 1 passive mark from the enemy. The best time to use this skill is when the enemies are alone or when the enemies have all 4 stacks of your passive mark. So it's recommended to use your first skill and a few basic attacks before using this skill on an enemy. Remember, this skill can hit even the creeps, minions, and even the turtle and lord. And during the duration of your ultimate, you can still use your retribution. So you can use this skill to secure objectives like turtle and lord.
You have slain an enemy.
Now let's talk about his gameplay and how to use him in a match. During the early stages of the game, Hayabusa is very weak and vulnerable, and if you're still inexperienced and don't know what you're doing, then I'd recommend you to play safe and farm until you reach level 4. And that way, you will be able to avoid dying during the early stages of the game. Remember, since Hayabusa uses energy instead of mana, taking the blue buff should always be your top priority when using him. And once you reach level 4, it's recommended to gank the gold lane, as ganking the gold lane is way easier compared to the other lanes. Plus, ganking the gold lane will also benefit your marksman. As we all know, marksmen are usually the weakest in the early game, but they become the strongest during the late game. So make sure to try supporting your marksman by ganking his lane, and after successfully ganking the gold lane, the turtle would be spawned by then. And make sure to try securing the turtle by asking your teammates to help you. Remember, taking the turtle is one of the most important things during the early game, as taking the turtle will provide you and your whole team with extra gold and shield. So your early game priorities should be farming, reaching level 4, helping your marksman, and securing the turtle. Now, let's talk about his mid-game. During the mid-game, this is the stage where Hayabusa starts to shine the most. And your main priority during the mid-game should be killing the enemies as much as you can. And you must mainly focus on their marksman and mage, as they are the main damage dealers of the enemy team. And killing their mage and marksman first would increase the chances of winning every team fight. During this stage, you must constantly keep an eye on the mini-map and rotate according to the situation. And this way, you will have higher chances of dominating the game. Remember, his second skill plays a huge role in his overall gameplay. So make sure to aim his second skill properly before using it an enemy. Because if you miss your second skill, then the enemies will easily be able to escape from you. And even though his first skill is your main source of damage, you still need your second skill in order to kill the enemies. So you must always use his second skill wisely, as you won't be able to kill anyone without his second skill. Now let's talk about his late game. During the late game, your priorities should still be the same as the mid game, and you must constantly keep trying to kill their mage and marksman. And most importantly, you must try to ambush the enemies that are trying to split push. Remember, Hayabusa is weak against heroes like Ling, Franco, Chao, and Saber. So you must be careful when playing against these heroes. And when using Hayabusa, you must also know that he can easily be countered using Flicker. So if the enemies have Flicker, then you must wait for them to use their Flicker first before using your ultimate on them, as Flicker or any kind of blink ability can cancel his ultimate. So make sure to keep that in mind before using your ultimate. Remember, during the late stages of the game, timing and positioning is the key to winning. So always make sure to wait for the perfect timing, and always be wary of your position, as you never know if the enemies are hiding in the bush waiting to ambush you. And remember, taking the Lord should also be your priority, as taking down the Lord could greatly increase the chances of ending the game. So what do you think about Hayabusa? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. And make sure to like the video if you haven't, and subscribe to my channel if you're new. I make tutorials and informative videos about the game. Thank you for watching.